Hello, welcome, and thank you for clicking on this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a music player. I've already made a video on how to play one song, so how to make an audio player, but a lot of people requested how to make a music player, how to choose between multiple songs, how to skip between songs and all of that. So that is what we're going to do in this video. So if that is something you want to do, something you want to implement into your app, then just keep on watching this video and we will make a music player together. Let's start by creating a new Xcode project. Let's select Xcode here, new project. That's what we want. And then we are going to make this a tabbed application because we want to navigate between selecting the songs, so a table view displaying all the songs, and then a controller so that we can set the song pause, skip track, whatever we want to do there. So we're going to make it a tabbed application, and I'm going to call it music player. Then I'm just going to save it here on my desktop. And the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to find some songs. So just find a map with songs. I've got all of these from the YouTube song library. So these are awesome songs. So I'm going to select these songs in this folder and drag them in. And just like that. And now here you should then have a folder with all of your songs. So what we want to do is, instead of making an array with all of the songs, we want to get our application to search for the songs and then display them in the table view so that we can effortlessly add new songs and we don't have to make any more changes. We just have to add them and then the application handles the rest. So the way that we are going to do that is we're going to create a function, and this function is going to be called getting song name. And what we want this function to do is, as its name suggests, we want it to get the names of all of the songs that we have in that folder. So let's first get the URL of the URL to all of the files that we're interested in. So you simply say let folder URL is equal to URL, and we want the file URL with path, and the path is going to be bundle, where we want to access this. So bundle dot main dot resource path. There we go, exclamation mark. So here we then have the URL to our folder. What we want to do now is we want to loop through all of the items in this folder. So we have the folder and now we want to loop through it. So we're going to say do, and we're also going to have a catch. So we're going to try to do something, and if that doesn't work, we're going to catch the error right here. So what are we trying to do here? Well, we're trying to get the name of all of the songs. So now that we have the URL to our directory, we now want to access each of the files. So what we're going to do now is we're going to access all of the files that we have under this URL and store them in a constant that we call song path. So we're going to say let song path is equal to, and we're going to try to do this, file manager dot default dot content of directory, and the directory that we want, we're going to take this long one here. Let's get some more space here. We want to get all of the files from the folder URL, and including properties of keys. No, we're not going to include any of that. And then here we can have some options, and we're just going to say dot skip hidden files, because those are files that we don't need. So now we should have all of our files stored in this variable or constant right here. Our next step is going to be to loop through this constant. Let's see, there we go, align it nicely. So in order to do that, we say for song in song path, so basically looping through all of the files, and then we are setting another variable, my song, and this is going to be equal to song.absolute_string. What we're doing here is we have the song path. So song path is an array that contains all of the URLs to our songs. Now we don't want it as a URL, we want it as a string so that we can work with it. And in order to do that, we create a new variable, and we say that is equal to the URL of this specific song that we have now come through by looping through a song path array. And we want to convert that URL to a string. So we now have the URL to one song stored in the variable mySong. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it is actually a song. And in order to do that, we say if mySong.contains, and we want to check if it contains .mp3. Because if the URL contains a .mp3, like all of these songs, then we know that it is a song. So we're going to check for that. And in order to see how long we have come, we are just going to try to print it out, just to make sure that everything is working exactly as we want it to. And now if everything does exactly that, then we should have, it should print to the logs all of these songs right here, or the URL path to all of these songs. And one thing that we did forget to do, and that was to first of all call the function. That's not a bad idea. So we're going to call the function immediately when the application loads. Then we're going to get all of the song names. Okay, so let's take a look at our output, and here it is. As you can see, we now have all of the songs that we're interested in. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that, yeah, 7 there also. So what you can see here is the URL to each of these files. This is the URL to this one, then this is the URL to this one, and so forth. So what we are interested in is we're only interested in the file name, which is this right here, a girl in Oakland.mp3, which is the name of that file. So how do we extract that? Well, because we converted it to a string, we can use some fancy commands that you couldn't have used with a URL. So what we want to do is we want to create an array that we call findString, because we want to find the last name or the mp3 file name. And what we want to fill this array with is all of the, so what we want to do basically, let me first show you. We're going to take mySong and we're going to separate by this character right here, so a dash. And by doing this, we get an array filled with these components, so this one and this one, so all of the components that are separated by a dash. And as you will see, the last element of that array is going to be this one. So if we now go ahead and we print findString, and we want the last one, so that is findString.count -1, so the last element of that array. If we print that now, you will see that we will get the song name, extract the song name out of each of the URLs. So let's see if that is the case, and yes, it is indeed the case. But as you can see, they look a bit strange. We have %20 here, and that is something we want to get rid of right now. So what we are going to do is we're going to save this. So we're going to say mySong is equal to that, so that we update our song variable. And then we are also going to remove or substitute this %20 with a space. So we're simply going to say mySong dot replace occurrences of, let's see, this one, and we're going to replace the occurrence of %20 with a space. And what we also want to do is we want to do the except. First we're going to set mySong equal to this, so that we constantly pass the updated value to our variable. And now we are going to be left with the file name plus mp3. But what we also want to do is we want to remove the mp3 extension. So we're going to say substitute.mp3 for nothing at all. And if we now go ahead and print this, so print my song, we will simply be left with the name of the song. So let's check if that is indeed the case. And yes, it is indeed the case. So here we have the song names without the extension, and everything looks clean and nice. Awesome. Now we're going to head over to the next step, and the next step is going to be loading all of these song names into a table view. Now if you don't know how to create a table view, I would suggest that you go ahead and check out my separate video on that, because right now we're just going to quickly go through it and just set it up in order to get a table view going here. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the main storyboard, and we are going to start by laying out the first view. So let's see, get some more space here, and then we are going to drag in a table view. So let's drag that in and stretch it wide, and then we are also going to place some constraints on all sides, just like that. And then we're going to connect it to, let's see, control drag, so hold down control and then drag from the table view to this yellow button, select data source and also select delegate. And then we're going to go over here and select one prototype cell, select that prototype cell and then just name it cell to make everything easy. And then we're going to head over to the first view controller once again, and we are going to set up the table view. Now the way we do that is by first of all adding the UI table view delegate and the UI table view data source. So these are the two things that we need in order to get the table view operational. And then we also need we're going to need three functions. First of all, number of rows. Rows in section, this one. This is going to tell the table view how many rows we need. And of course, the amount of rows is going to be equal to the amount of songs we have. So what we need to do is we need to create a little array here. And I'm going to make it global. I'm not sure if that's going to be necessary, but just to be sure, I'm going to make it global for now. And I'm going to say var songs is equal to, and just make it an empty array, and it's going to be an array of strings. And then down here in our function, we're going to add each song to that array. So we're going to say, let's see, what did I name? Yeah, songs dot append, and we are going to append my song, just like that. So now we are going to have all of our songs in our array, and then what we're going to do is we are going to say that the amount of rows that we need is going to be the amount of items that we have in our array. So we're simply going to say return, let's stop that, return songs dot count. Makes sense. And then we are going to add another function, and this function is going to tell our table view what we want to display in each cell. And this function is named cell for row at index path. And here we are simply going to create a cell. So we're going to say, let's say let cell is equal, let's see, is equal to UI table view cell. And then we're going to set the style and the reuse identifier. Style, we're just going to say .default. Reuse identifier, we're going to use the identifier that we gave our prototype cell in our main.storyboard. And then we're going to say cell dot text label dot text is equal to songs at index path dot row. Let's see, row, there we go. And then we're just going to return the cell. Return cell. And as I said, if not everything of this is completely clear, then I would like you to refer back to my table view video where I go more in depth and explain how all of this works. But right now we're just setting it up. Then also we need to register when the user taps on a certain cell. So we're going to use did select row at index path, and then we're going to do something here very shortly. I'm just going to do it like that. So there's one more thing we need in order to display it in our table view, and that involves us, let's see, getting our storyboard. And then we are going to control drag, so hold down control and then drag in our table view. And I'm just going to name it my table view. Connect it up, just like that. And then we can head back, and then down here in our getting song name function, we are going to say my table view dot reload data, just like this. So we're getting, with this function, we're getting all of the song names, and then we're updating the table view to display all of the songs. So let's launch this application, and everything should work very fine, hopefully. So here it is, a table view displaying all of our songs. So this is an awesome progression. We now have all of our songs. We didn't need to do anything. Our app found the songs for us and then loaded them into our table view. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to click one of the songs, and then it should start playing that song. And also here I have a video on how to create an audio player. So if that isn't completely clear, just refer back to that video, but I think that you will figure it out once we go along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the AV foundation. This is the audio and video foundation, which enables us to work with audio. And then I'm also going to create an audio player, which is going to be an AV audio player, just like that. And I'm making it global so that the other view controller also can have access to this audio player. And then let's see down here. So when the user taps on a certain cell, we want to take that name and then play the song according to the name. So the way we do that is with a do and a catch. So let's set that up, do catch. And here we are going to try to pass the content of, or first we're going to find the path to our song by using the song name. So we're going to say let audio path is equal to main or bundle dot main dot path, and we want the path for resource, and our resource is the cell that the user just clicked on. So this is songs at index path dot row. Let's see, index path. Let's see, there we go. And this is a complicated way of basically saying we want the name that's displayed on the cell that the user tapped on, and we're accessing that by checking which row the user tapped on and checking that against our array, and that will give us the name of the song that the user has just tapped on, and the type is just mp3.mp3. There we go. And then we want to take that content and push it into our audio player. So we're going to say the audio player, let's see, not path but player, the contents of the audio player to be equal to an AV audio player, and we want the contents of, let's see which one it is, it's this one, contents of our NSURL, and we're going to take the file URL with path, and this is our audio path, and we want to, let's see, audio path, and we want to cast it to a URL. So this is basically a complicated way of saying we want the contents of this audio path right here, so the content, which can be either one of these songs, and we want to take that content and stuff it into our audio player. And once we have done that, we're simply going to say play player audio player dot play. This is how simple it is, and here we're just going to print error. There we go. And then we're going to launch it, and now we should be able to tap on a song, and then that song should be played for us. So let's tap on this one. There we go. And then this one. Real YouTube library music. And then I'm going to click on this one. So as you can see, this works brilliantly. We're able to play any song we want to. And don't worry about this. I have heard that this is a bug with Xcode 8.8 together with iOS 10. I'm not sure, but at least that's what I have read. And now, so we're just going to continue with our app here, and our last step is going to give our user some controls, and he's going to get that control when he switches to the second view controller.